there, Postal here. Today we're taking out the IL-10. Are we in a bot battle? We were just in a battle with a bunch of people, and now they all just disappeared. Well, alright. We're going to take advantage of it. What we're trying to do is get this plane to specialization. In a bot battle, I'm going to play it a little bit differently. I'm going to try to capture sectors. Normally I would go straight for that military base or the command center. In this situation, I'm going to go for the garrison, simply to get the capture points. The game's not going to last all that long no matter what I do. Well, the game lasting long is not going to be determined by me. How about we say it that way? So I might as well just go capture some points. Now, if they've got some bots that start killing our bots, that kind of thing, if they're capturing sectors at a quick rate, well then, you know, maybe the game will last longer. But I suspect I'm going to be able to take care of this pretty handily. And so we're going to do that. So first things first, let's go knock out these tents. Quick succession, going to knock out these small tents here. And then drop a bomb on the center. Hello, sir. Thank you very much. There we go. We still have one of our bombs left. And we're going to move along to the command center. Yeah. So, what is the IL-10? The IL-10 is one of the two Tier 7 Soviet ground attackers. This is the first one I've received, or earned. This is 4 23mm cannons. Relatively maneuverable, we'll say, for a ground attacker. Ooh, no more mountains, huh? Slow like all the Soviet ground attackers. Got the bombs, got the rockets, so you've got a lot of flexibility when it comes to attacking the air. Attacking the ground, but you also have a little bit of flexibility when attacking the air. You might see that in this battle. We shall see. I'm going to knock out the anti-aircraft, or at least the low-level anti-aircraft first. Let's go ahead and take down some of these radio towers, if for no other reason but to get them out of my face. I might have left that a little late. Ooh, can I? Perfect. So if we turn around and get... Actually, we can get this, so we can stop being shot at. And this is soft targets. Trees, squirrels, I'm so sorry. So you've got the 423mm cannons. You've got some flexibility with your maneuverability, although, you know, you're not going to get into dogfights, typically. But you can take out other ground attackers relatively easily when you're in this plane. And you got all that air-to-ground flexibility. So I really do like this plane. It really opened up my eyes to what ground attackers could be. You've got a pretty decent rear gunner. I mean, he's not the world's best rear gunner. The IL-8, I feel, has a slightly better rear gunner, but I could be wrong. Just feels like that because you're a little chunkier in the IL-8. But this plane really can do everything when it comes to ground attack. And we're going to try to do that today. Let's go ahead and knock out some of this shenanigans. Soft targets like this is really what this plane excels at. The 23mm cannons that are on here are not going to overwhelm anything like the 45mm cannons. I think they're 45mm cannons on the IL-8. Let's go ahead and pull up, see if we can try to avoid those squirrels. We could not. We need to hit the old F7 button. Ground attacker's secret weapon. The ability to hopefully call in reinforcements. Oh, hello, sir. Don't mind if I do. Ha! And let's get rid of some of these tents here. Or softer targets, I guess I should say.
The enemy is launching rockets at us from the military base. Take action.
There we go. We still have our bombs and rockets, so we were able to take out the forward air base. Nothing but our guns, which is great. And, you know, these guns take a long time to overheat. Unlike the 30mm cannons on the ME-265 and the 45mm cannons on the IL-8. These cannons tend to, I mean, they do overheat, of course, but they tend to last a little bit longer in that regard. We're moving along to our military base here. And unless they capture something pretty quickly here, once we capture this military base, all bets are off on this game lasting much longer. Oh, shoot a boot. Just gonna rocket that. Let's see if we can't drop a bomb here. Oops, somebody else dropped a bomb there. Hey, cool, yo. Now we just need to stay alive for a little while longer. I don't know why my cannons aren't hitting him. Should be dead at this point. Don't want to follow him up too high because I'll just stall out. There we go. Excellent. That was a lot more difficult than it needed to be. They did get our garrison, but you know what? We're going to probably get their garrison. So don't mind if I do. If he even stays alive long enough for me to get him. He did. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. I'm actually going to go to this other garrison anyway. We've got a bombing run going for the... Whoa. Ha! I didn't get the kill on that guy, but I think I should have. Yeah, our military base and command center are going for that garrison, so it's going to be capped before I get there. You gotta definitely think ahead when it comes to this plane because it's just going to take you so god-awful long to get anywhere. Once you get there, you're going to own it, but until you get there, you're going to struggle to have any kind of relevant impact. Ooh, they might actually even get the center here. Fingers crossed that they do. We'll head on back to the garrison over here. Eventually getting there. I think it's the downfall of any of the Soviet ground attackers. And ground attackers in general from tier 6 and below are incredibly slow. You know, they got some burst speed and yada yada yada, but in general, you gotta play a patient game when it comes to these planes. We're up by 150 points, 130 points. So as long as we stay alive, we're still gonna have a good impact, and we should be able to pull the win out here, even though they're up 3 sectors to our 2. We're gonna drop a bomb there, knock this out, rocket, rocket, pull up. Don't like all the trees here. Gonna take out our hit points even quicker. Those militant squirrels. Let's see if I can't drop another bomb here. Ah, there was a tree there. Excelente. Let's keep on moving. Oh no, we might be in a lot of trouble here. We're probably gonna die, actually.
Way to go. Victory is close.
Thank goodness they're not paying attention to me. These guys coming inbound are. Dang it. Only so much you can do. We did set up our team for a win there. Hopefully our bots don't. Oh god.
We have complete control of this.
Oh, we got complete control of this guys. Thank goodness, because our freaking team is melting away. We did set ourselves up for a win there. That's certainly a good thing, and we'll take it. Relatively low personal points, Hero of the Sky badge, but I mean, who am I to complain? We did what we needed to do. Got ourselves a Lang and a Conqueror. Just go to the sectors and capture. Stay alive as long as possible. It's really the key for any of the ground attackers. IL-10 is no exception to that. Staying alive longer will allow you to have a bigger impact on the battle. Let's head back. So we were able to get aerial targets. Not that that matters. 16 ground targets. 5 sectors captured. That's your bread and butter, is capturing the sectors. And this plane does it really well, right? Yeah, I mean, you're doing a little bit of everything that you could possibly want to do in this plane. That means, attacking the ground sectors. The key to any of the GAAs is focusing on what you can actually take out in a sector. Obviously, I'm not going to take my 23mm cannons and focus on the hardest or heaviest ground target. Not in this plane. That's not what it's built for. IL-8, maybe. IL-10, no. Go after the 10s. Go after the medium armored targets. Use your rockets for the heavy targets. Use your bombs for the really heavy targets. And play it smart. Try to focus on what you can take out, not what you can't take out. So I'm trying to work on specialization for this particular plane. As far as my current setup is concerned, I've got reinforced bolt carriers. It really does help. Just being able to hold down the trigger and keep shooting at those 10s or keep shooting at those medium targets for longer. I'm not worried about accuracy. I'm shooting at ground targets. They're not going anywhere. Don't really care about range. I really just want to be able to hold down my trigger for longer. I've also got reinforced skin, to help avoid critical damage both to my wings and tail. It lowers my cruise speed, but my cruise speed sucks anyway, so what's the impact? Not really a lot. As far as consumables is concerned, this plane just doesn't catch on fire, or at least not enough for me to warrant putting a fire extinguisher, so I've got first aid package on here. Plus, this allows you to put in your gunner, which you definitely need. If your gunner got knocked out, there's probably somebody behind you shooting your gunner, and you want to get him back in there so you can defend yourself. Something else I highly recommend is improved fragmentation. Just being able to do more damage with your bombs and rockets cannot be a bad thing. As far as my setup is concerned, once I specialize this plane, probably be focusing on the reload of the outboard weapons. I know that slows down your plane, but again, who cares? You're in an IL-10. You're not in a frickin' 262. And so being able to reload the bombs and rockets quicker, in my opinion, is a bigger deal. We'll see if that's what I stick with, but I'm definitely not going to be going with any kind of like bomb or rocket sight. I'm so close to the targets that if I'm missing my rockets and bombs, well, that's on me, not on my equipment. And as far as equipment for the cockpit, I will almost certainly be using the armored cockpit to help keep my pilot and my gunner in and alive longer. And for the engine, so this is one that I do kind of question. As far as my engine is concerned, I'll probably use the manual engine restart. There's an argument for any one of the three to be used. Having engine cooling on here could help, just giving it extra 10 seconds for the boost to actually get from sector to sector. Actually, I guess that'd be the two that I'd use. I wouldn't put the improved mixture for this to give you, an overall buff to your speed. It's only going to be like a 2% buff to your airspeed. That's not going to be very good anyway. So either engine cooling or manual engine restart. I'll probably start with manual engine restart, and then it'll go from there. As far as my pilot is concerned, keep in mind my pilot and gunner that were originally on this plane have moved along. They're either in the IL-40 or the IL-40P. So I've only got 2-point gunner and a 2-point pilot. My pilot, the first thing you need is demolition expert. Anything else, I just don't know a viable first option other than this. You want more damage caused by your bombs and rockets, and this does that, plus gives you a blast radius buff of 10%. That's your focus as a GAA, is to do damage to the ground with your bombs and rockets. So it's pretty straightforward there. Anything else, in my opinion, is a waste of 2 points. Maybe if you've got a 15-point pilot, sure, there's a lot of different things you've got. But if you've only got a 2-point pilot, demolition expert is the way to go. I will almost certainly be going to something like protection expert as my 4th point. But argument could be made for some of these special pilot skills, specifically resilience. Resilience could be very, very good in this situation, and allow for your crew to be healed, repairs critical damage, even increases engine thrust and maneuverability if your plane's hit points are reduced down below 70%. that is probably going to be my first go-to at my 5th point, and then my 7th point would be protection expert, and then we'll see where we go from there. There's an argument for engine guru just to get some sort of wannabe action of your engine thrust. You could also argue that cruise flight could be helpful just so you can see those incoming targets. When you're in a ground attack aircraft, it is really helpful to know where the enemies are so you know where you can go to avoid. Being able to see a heavy fighter coming inbound, because a lot of heavy fighters might be coming after you but not right at you. You know, they're heading to the sector they know you're at, but they don't know exactly where you're at. So if you can see where they're coming from ahead of time, you might be able to get yourself down into a ravine, or just get yourself off to the side, or have him targeted sooner rather than later. And so something like cruise flight could help in this plane. We'll see. That'll be when I get to 7 points on the pilot. As far as the gunner is concerned, right now I don't have anything. My first skill I'm going to use is defensive fire. On bombers and ground attackers, I really feel defensive fire is the first skill that you want to get. Reducing damage from the enemy aircraft by 30%. So whatever aircraft my gunner is shooting at, that aircraft is doing 30% less damage. That's really important. After that, I'm going to go with quick reflexes to get the aiming time reduced, and then I'm going to fill this in. This is almost always my first 10 points that I use. Now keep in mind, especially on ground attackers, but really on ground attackers or bombers, precision gunner can be very, very helpful. Doing critical damage, having a chance of doing even more critical damage to an airplane that's behind you, either knocking out their wing, knocking out their engine, knocking out their pilot, whatever, can be incredibly helpful. So the argument could be made easily, and you wouldn't be wrong if you decided to go to a precision gunner sooner rather than later. This is my first 10 points on a gunner, but it doesn't mean that it's the right 10 points. I still feel confident that defensive fire is the way to go for your first 3 points. After that, everything else is kind of up for debate a little bit. I do think that the ballistics expert is really helpful. Increasing the range of your turret by 10% can't be underestimated there. The problem is you have to go through armor to get that. So really, this is a 5-point skill because you've got to get this one first. And so this is really the second point that I want to get. So that's going to be my 8th point. And after that, then do we get quick reflexes? Then do we get precision gunner? I don't know. It's up to everybody individually at that point. But that's why I don't currently have any points on my gunner, is because I wanted to get defensive fire. I suppose I could accelerate and use some free XP. Well, I guess I could do that right now if I wanted to. But I guess I got plenty of free XP, so I probably should do that, but that's for another time. I do have some paint that I wouldn't normally keep on here. This is my crew experience paint to try to build up my crew as much as possible since it's a super low crew. But typically I'd recommend going with your summer paint scheme, summer, winter, desert, and marine paint. AA can kill this plane more than some planes, honestly. You can do everything right when it comes to avoiding enemies, setting up yourself to defend yourself against enemy aircraft, but the AA is still going to chip away at you. And so using some of this just concealing paint not only knocks down your concealment, but also helps your tolerance from AA guns. And so certainly not a bad idea there. There is a speed paint that comes with this. I laugh at that because 3% of crap is still crap. So the cruise speed is really not relevant for this plane, although it does look sharp. For me right now, I'm just using this paint so that way I can get my crew built up as quickly as possible, and then I'll go to one of the concealing paints. Anyway, super quick overview of this plane. A plane I really, really honestly do enjoy. Nobody requested it. I just wanted to play it, and I want to get specialization on this plane because it deserves it. It's a wonderful Tier 7 ground attack aircraft. Highly recommend that you get it. Whether you're going down the Soviet tech line to earn it, the attack aircraft line jumps off and you can get the IL-10 from there. Or something else you can do is if you're going down the MiG line, you actually have a diversion on the I-220 to get the IL-10. That's how I got this plane. I liked the I-220 so much, I decided, you know what, I'm going to keep on grinding and get the IL-10 just because it gave me an excuse to keep playing this plane more. And then I fell in love with the IL-10 as well. So it's a win-win as far as I'm concerned when you're flying around the I-220. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'd love to hear your comments on your setup for your plane. Do you have it specialized already, or is this a plane you skipped and you went down the IL-8? Because the IL-8 is that hard-hitting version of this plane. A little bit chunkier. More heavy-hitting, but not a bad plane either. I'd love to hear your comments down below, or you can always hop in my Discord, link in the description. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great day, and bye.